Okay, my name is Cassidy Shalene, and I will be doing the SAM for diagnostic audiometers, and I have the Equinox right here. And what I did, I turned the computer on, and I clicked on the Equinox suite. And I'm just gonna go over this whole program, and then I'll kind of tell the order as well. So, I guess we'll start with this. So I would make sure I do a listening check and making sure that this computer is on for the Equinox, and I'm going to want to check in the other room that the headphones or just all the transducers are working, the cords aren't all tangled up, because like if you have a client and they're moving around, you don't want to accidentally unplug it. But with the listening check, you're going to want a buddy with you. It is much harder if you do it alone, but basically you can just have a buddy in there and listen to like the headphones, and you're going to want to check the intensity levels as well as the frequency levels. So you're going to want to test that. We usually want to test the 250 to 8,000 and make sure that they're all working well. And then while you're at it, you might as well make sure that the talk forward's working. And on this side, I want to make sure that headset is also working, plugged in, and that I can hear the buddy that's in the other room. When we do stimulus and everything, you also want to wiggle some cords to make sure that everything really is all good. And with the listening check and biological check, what I was told by one of the students was the biological check is you essentially know the threshold that your client has already, and you kind of go from there. But that's what I was told, and that's what I know. And then now I'm just gonna kind of go through this whole program. It's kind of a lot, but I'll kind of slow down and explain it the best I can. So with the transducer selection, so we have a channel 1 here and a channel 2 here. I'm going to kind of focus as if we're only working with channel 1, but you can have them work simultaneously, and it's used a lot for masking. I know you can present a tone on this one while you have like maybe white noise on this one going on, but right, for this video, I'm going to focus on as if we just have one channel at a time. But so on each side though of the channels, we have an output and input. So the output is talking about the transducers that we're selecting. So I'll just list them. So we have phone right, phone left, bone right, bone left, free field 1, free field 2, insert right, and insert left. So if I had inserts in my client right now, I am testing the right side, which clearly I'm doing the right side right now because it's a red audiogram. But if it was the left, then I would have a blue audiogram. So it's kind of nice to know that, because we do much better when we color code things. But yeah, so back to the right one. So we have an insert right now. And then it's also on this channel too, like I said, but I have it on off for this one, for right here. Okay, and then on the input, we have the tone, is which we're gonna do. We have the warble, and we have narrow band noise and white noise, and it says also on the other side. I'm going to be doing tone for this. This is what we're going to do if we're going to do an air conduction test. So, okay, then for the stimulus. So, I didn't want to talk about it during the listening test because I want to break it down here. But, so for the stimulus, you have a stimuli on channel 1 and channel 2. Everything I say for the channel 1, there's also on channel 2, by the way. So in stimulus, the stimuli on is this little button right here. and it's flashing right now. And you can click on this and it would present a tone. And there are also arrows. So on the left side, it has an arrow going down, and you can see on my audiogram, I have it at 2000 right now, but if I go down, it technically goes down intensity level, and then going up, you can see it, that it's like reversed. So that is for the intensity. And then in the middle right here underneath the frequency, you can see it's at 2000. There's also arrows here, so you can change the frequency going lower and the frequency going higher. And let me just point out the intensity is also listed right here. So I have it at 30 dB right now, and it's at 3000 frequency in the middle. Okay. And one thing to point out is I have it on one audiogram. There's settings over here. So let me just go to the one I want. Where'd it go? I just had it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it has it on single audiogram right here. But if I did want to separate by channels, I can also have the audiogram for channel 1, audiogram for channel 2. But I'm going to go back to single. I prefer that. Okay. All right. So when I have this headset on, I can talk forward. So when I want the client to hear me, I would just go over here under the talking monitor and check this checkbox, and then it will, like, as this shows up, they'll be able to hear what I'm saying. And you can adjust it with the intensity with this bar right there, and you can click on it if you want to go higher, but usually around 65. Okay. And then there's also settings on the left side, like I said, under talking monitor. And to exit out of this, you have to click on the X to close. But with the settings, I'll just kind of go over it. But the monitor, it'll have channel 1 and channel 2. I just have it on channel 1 because that's all I'm really working on right now. But I can as well do both, so they can hear in both sides. Okay. And then there is also a checkbox for talking back so that I can hear the client. And there's like a little microphone on the other side of the booth so that I will hear her or him. Okay. All right. And then I want to point out the pure tone averages. So Equinox already sets it up for you. And so on this left side and right side here, it has air condition pure tone averages. So that is very convenient. So say, hold on, I have one accidentally listed here. I accidentally clicked on it. But let me just delete it really quick. Okay, there you go. So I'll just kind of briefly explain. I'm at 30 dB right now at 1000. And I can, for the stimulus, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm going to double check. But I did say that you can use the stimulate button right here, but you can also use the space bar for the stimulus, and you can also control the frequency and the intensity by the arrows on the keyboard. Sorry, I just don't know if I mentioned that. But so at 1000 right now at 30 dB, and say I presented it, you want to do 3 of the tone, like beep, 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 and say they hear it. Now, I think of it differently than other people. I go up on the audiogram 10 and say that they didn't hear it, then I would go down 5. So it's a little reversed than what we're taught. Technically, I guess it is going down intensity 10 and going up intensity going up intensity by 5 when they respond. Okay, I just think of it a little reverse. It's better for me to understand. Okay. And so say I figured out my threshold at 10 at 1000. What I'm gonna do is press the S on here. I can also just do the right click and also add the threshold. And on here it specifically asks if it's like an unmasked or masked threshold. Okay. All right. What else?